everybody. Hope you're doing good. We're at the garden today, and we have some serious problems with our tomatoes. So I'm going to give you a walkthrough, and I'm going to show you how we're going to problem solve this. You might end up running into the same situation. I got a little greedy in the spring, which tends to happen. So now I have to backpedal and problem solve and sort it out. So I'll run you through and I'll show you. Okay, so these are my Romas and my San Marzanos. Can you see how the trellis netting is pulled down? It's probably around 2 feet lower than what it's supposed to be. And the tomatoes are bowed right out. Check this out. Okay, you see how off-centered they are? They're literally covering the pathway. So last year, if you guys have been following my channel, I had more posts. I had wooden stakes in between these to help hold it all up. Those stakes are a couple of years old, and I didn't want to risk putting them in and then having them snap, right? Because then we would have like catastrophic problems. So I just ran T-posts. But what's happened is the weight of the tomatoes has pulled the whole thing out. It's probably at the bottom. It's probably out like 3 feet here. So what we're going to do is I bought T-posts. We're going to go into the center right about here. We're going to put another T-post in here, same on that side, okay? And then I've got some orange baling twine. What we're going to do is we're going to tie baling twine to the top of that T-post and then weave it through here, tie it to here, weave it through here, and tie it to the T-post behind me, and that will help hold it all up under the weight of these absolutely beautiful tomatoes. Because right now what's happening is they're literally like bent in half, right? You guys can see, look at the arch on those things. So let's get to it. Okay, so I've cut a hole in the geotextile right here, and I've just pushed that T-post into the ground. I'm just gonna climb on a bucket and we're gonna hammer it down because I can't really reach it well. So we got it hammered in. Now I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm going to pull that up. So my kids are gonna help me. So I can't film that part because my kids are not allowed to be on camera. But they're gonna have to pull that trellis netting up and lift all those tomatoes. So it's gonna be hard. I might actually get my neighbor to help me. So I'll get that started to get tied up and I'll turn the camera back on. So we got that center T-post installed here, and we have the center T-post installed here, and we've got it pulled up a fair amount. You can see now, looking down the row, it's not pulled out almost at all anymore. And then what I've done, so we've got that straightened out. Look, you can actually see the pathway again. Fantastic. And then what else I've done is I've got some of that really tough orange baling wire, and I've tied it from here, and you can see I've woven it across the top and I've attached it. Now, one of the problems I might have is, so check this out. See the height of this already? This plant is already 4 feet tall. The top of this trellis netting is maybe 6.5 feet tall. It's only the beginning of July. Okay, it's July 8th, I think, today. So these tomatoes are going to grow until mid-September. So I don't know what I'm going to do when they hit the top of the trellis, because they're just going to keep growing. So that is a problem to solve later. But as you can see, looking down, we've sorted that out, right? I can actually walk down the path. I'm going to take out some of these sticks. They were holding over some of the smaller, slumped over tomatoes. And I've done the same here, right? Tied that string off to hold them up. I can't pull this up any tighter. So, yeah. And we just installed the trellis netting onto the T-post with zip ties. So what I did is I found the holes, like here, for example. I found the hole that was just above where the trellis netting crosses, see, like that. And then I just pulled it up tight. My kids helped me. And that's keeping tension on it. And it's not allowing to slide back down. But I want to talk about tight, right? Look how tight that is. So now we have this next bed to do. I'll come back down to the beginning here and I'll show you. So it is kicked out somewhat down there, but this is like 20 feet of gap in here without trellis netting in the center. And I've got some really big tomato plants in here. There's some mortgage lifters and some red reef hearts and stuff. So they're gonna get big. Those plants are gonna get really big, really heavy. So I have 2 more T-posts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this distance across here and I'm going to install 2 more T-posts, you know, about a quarter of the way. I'm gonna break it down into quarters, and then we're gonna lift this whole thing up, and we're gonna repeat this process because, I mean, you can see there's a 2-foot dip, you know, look at the distance in the dip it's come down. So we're gonna repeat that step. Wow, what a difference, guys. Look how much we've pulled that up. Hey, tomatoes are finally standing up straight. So we got that done. The back row of tomatoes is finished. And I've got that T-post and that T-post installed. And then we tied the twine across the top and pulled them all up. So yeah, we're doing okay. Now there's going to be a lot more airflow moving through here too. So, and I'm going to be able to see all the suckers. It's going to be a little easier to see the suckers so I can pick through here, because there's suckers are growing like crazy because the garden's growing like crazy. So we're getting rain and heat, so everything's loving it. And we're getting lots of tomatoes. Oh, hang on. There you go. You can see we're starting to get a bunch of tomatoes. They're green, but we'll be eating tomatoes soon, and there's tons of flowers. So before I leave today, I'm going to go through, I'm going to hand pollinate all of these tomatoes, cut a bunch of suckers up. You can see I've been adding clips and stuff to the tomatoes to keep them growing straight. And this is one project completed, which is awesome. Now I can move on. See how the leaves are curling? They're not getting enough water, but one problem at a time. All right, guys, hope you like this. Like and subscribe and share and do all those awesome things, and make sure you're growing good food. Have an awesome day. See ya.